been a while. A lot of stuff going on. Tonight, Dr. Short, myself, and Sister Black Rose will be having a discussion in reference to the failed assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump. The title of the show is Oops, Biden Did It Again. And if you don't understand the context of why some of the blame falls on the present president, then you don't understand how the Secret Service works and who has the authority to deploy as many Secret Service agents as possible. So tonight, Dr. Short and myself will have this discussion along with Sister Black Rose. You guys in the chat, like I said, it's been a minute. I'm glad you could join us. Remember, like, share, subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. We're going to have this discussion because before Dr. Short even starts going into it and about it, we got to understand that the son and nephew of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's actually a candidate, he has no Secret Service whatsoever. He's been denied any Secret Service protection, and he's considered a friend of Joe Biden. So imagine a political enemy, and the only reason why the former President Trump probably has any Secret Service is because he's a former president, not as just a candidate. But anyway, what's going on, Dr. Short?
More or less the same. You know that they're messing with the channels. Professor Black Truth, everybody, it's July. I wish this were on StreamYard. I know I have a channel. I pay premium, and it won't let me in. We've been dealing with this, for about an hour? Hour and a half, just trying to get in, and it's still entering the studio. So for everybody on my channels, please, you can catch me. I'm streaming through 3. I could do 4, but that's okay. How you doing, Brother Claude and everybody else? So everybody, like, retweet, like it. We'll be talking about this. Biden done it. And yes, Biden did this. This is Biden's fault. If you're president of the United States and something bad happens, it's your fault. That's what leadership is. So for anybody to tell you, oh, it's no time to point fingers, that's bullshit. It's time to blame and point fingers. Everything is jacked. The banks are jacked, the border's jacked, your icebox is jacked, your gas tank is jacked, your bank account is jacked. Everything is jacked in America since this bastard took office. He couldn't campaign 4 years ago when he was in a better mental state. He can't campaign now. He can't remember whether he's a white man or a black woman. He can't remember who heads the states he's talking to. He's lost. And all the stupid ass people who want to support him because you've been mentally poisoned to hate Trump, if you can't see that very wicked, dangerous people back Biden, and they want him at any cost, if they have to kill people, destroy, they want him. There's something particularly evil about the Biden presidency that they want this man even when he can't string a sentence together. And I want to say this to all of the cynical, my favorite people, the hard-headed black women who are crying out for an ass stomping. You guys ducked a bullet yesterday. Had Donald Trump been killed, with Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Reid, Oprah, damn it, it seems as if every woman that ever had a period, black, has to be on television attacking this man nonstop over real and imagined stuff, right? You guys are now the face of opposition to Trump. If he gotten killed yesterday, a lot of black women would be getting beat, shot, mugged, raped, disappeared. I've been saying this for 5-6 years. Stop getting involved. And the biggest demographic that's against guns are black women. It's the dumbest ass position to take. Nothing wrong with guns. It's fired bullets that you need to worry about. You can have a house full of guns and nobody get hurt. It's if you have bullets and then you point it at somebody. And I've got to start off with that. That there were loudmouth people all this week. Joy Reid, Whoopi Goldberg, saying that they would vote for a brain dead person. Just tell me the corpse to vote for, just not Trump. People need to not, this is what black folks don't get. White people, damn too, listen to what you're talking about. Blacks are the moral barometer of the country, even though we're very degenerate people these days. When white folk hear black folks absolutely can't stand Donald Trump and hate him, they feel within their right to do whatever they want to do towards Biden. That's on the left. On the right, they feel like whatever the black person says, then that's a reason, another reason to hate and come after them. I repeat, stay out of other people's conflicts. If they will put Donald Trump in jail, take all this money, make up charges against him, take away his freedom of speech, what in the hell do you think they will do to us whom they hate? Far more than they hate Donald Trump. Why are we celebrating the misfortune of one white man when there could be misfortune to us as an entire collective of black people? You know, stop being stupid. But you know what? Don't listen. Was talking to a very wonderful, beautiful lady friend of mine in Chicago, from Chicago. She lives in the suburbs now. And she was at a business. And a white man said to another man, you know, she hates Trump. And everybody looked at her. And she's a lone black woman by herself, a place full of white people. And she says, you can't speak for me. You don't know who I like. Don't put me in a box. And she says, that's the first time I realized what you're saying. We'll walk in as black women and white folk mad will look and say, it's her, she did it. A lot of folks need to look into a phenomenon called witch hunting. Witch hunting is a common human process in societies where people target and blame a person that personifies or is believed to be connected to evil. And witch hunts are violent, they are brutal, they are ugly, and for all the little fake conscious community, Afrocentric Negroes listening, Africa has more witch hunts than anybody. And they will kill you, burn your house down, they will cut you up if you're a witch. If you're seen as a witch child, people will throw you out in the street. The first time I went to Nigeria, there was a place in the town where I was, where all the children that were seen to be the spawn of witches or evil spirit, these kids were literally left to starve to death or to make it on their own. In that Africa that all you bastards want to run back to uncritically. And that's your motherland. Yes, if you were a loudmouth girl, like say Sexy Reds, and 8/10 of black women, they would say you had a witch. If you had a witch, you could be raped, you could be jailed, you could be beaten, you could be burned, you could be banished if you're in a rural area, or stoned. There's no conversation. A lot of this feminism and stuff and burning sage and such, that y'all so, that will get you stomped out in the wrong context. And a lot of other places in the world that we no good, terrible black men, we accept as a part of life. That's the way she is. I'm saying all this because I warned people at the beginning, if Joe Biden was president, black women would be left holding the bag for public reaction to the failure of his presidency. We're so close to that. We're very close. I don't want it. I'm saying don't do it. Stay away from it, ladies. Nobody needs that kind of hostility. However, speaking of that kind of hostility, what happened in Dallas within the last 2 days, they're having the gay or Kappa Alpha sorority or horrority down in Dallas, Texas. And in the hotel where they were hosting the event were Kumswala Harris Imhoff, our vice president, and our emphasis is vice. They kicked this white gay daddy bear semi-pedophile group out by the hundreds. And now white gay men are angry with Alpha Kappa Alpha. Don't doubt that there won't be lawsuits, possibly in the millions of dollars, against the AKAs. Don't blame me. I didn't do it. But I'll tell you, it's hypocrisy because the AKAs were started by lesbians. Lucy Slowe was a stud. And so it ends like it begins. And while I'm at it, the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity is facing scrutiny from within and from without because they want to make it a male-only fraternity, which makes sense to me, but not to their gay members. And yes, all of the divine swine groups are packed full of LGBTQ, same-sex, same gender-loving, whatever, all of them. They're very strong in all of our black secret societies. In fact, they run the show. And it's doubtful to me whether Alpha Phi Alpha will have the moral fortitude to keep it male only, because if the gays and DLs and other people decide to leak out secrets of gang rapes, murder, abuse, so forth in the different chapters, they may have the leverage to force Alpha Phi Alpha to take trans women. And hands up to all the black women that want to be dudes without paying the price. You might just be able to be an alpha man while being a black woman. And as much as the women beef about how feminine black men are, you need to look in the mirror and see how masculine you broads are. Why everything for men you need to be in, including drawers. And if you had one, if your clitoris was big enough, you'd wear a condom on it to prove how manly you were. Well, this is going to end. This country is going to swing to the right. Y'all don't want Project 2025, but you keep poking the bear in the eye that could support 2025. You might just get it. It's interesting. The liberals on the left came up with all of these policies to destroy the black family. And on the right, they want to destroy feminism. The same way that we black men have been betrayed by black feminists, we black patriarchs are going to betray pork chop feminists in 2025. You know, so we can say goodbye to all the arrogance, all the loud talking, all the times, brother, you and I have been somewhere and some belligerent pork chop starts yelling and screaming at you and you haven't said anything to her. In every other culture, that woman would get her ass kicked to the ground and beaten down. Of course, I'm 100% against. But again, I don't want you yelling at me. I don't want you up in my face. Brother, you've traveled a little bit. You know in Jamaica, I can't get up in a mansion and yell at her. You could get your behind kicked. That's everywhere in the world except in the black community. And the people here, I find this pork chop movement is like the gay movement. You can never satisfy them. They always feel like they didn't get something. I mean, I spit on the man, hit him, beat him up, and I don't have any rights. Try that in Russia. Try that in Nigeria. Try that practically anywhere else in the world except for in black America. Try that with a fellow black female stud. Spit on her and slap her and see whether she doesn't knock the hell out of you. And when the police come, it's crisscross. They'll take you, both your asses off to jail. You could spit on the black man, hit him, and the police will come and take him off to jail, and he didn't raise his hand to you, and your stupid ass thinks you're oppressed. Only black American men tolerate this. So, of course, if you want to swirl and the black man's no good and Zaddy knows best, Well, Zaddy can afford more lawyers. Zaddy's the same color as a judge in divorce court and separation court and custody court. Y'all about to have a goddamn rung of reality club you over the head. I know I'm making you mad. That is my mission. I'm basically the black Tokyo Rose to pork chop feminist. And I'm here to tell you how you're going to lose. And I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over again until it happens. And unlike Tokyo Rose or Axis Sally, I'm going to win. So I would be Axis Alley and Tokyo Bro. And so...
Dr. Short,
mhm.
just pardon me for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
I want people to understand when you go to a rally where it's a president or presidential candidate, explain, because I know that's basically your backyard, that's your wheelhouse. Explain how the security is. I know
they have all kinds of security. They're supposed to do sweeps weeks before the president comes. They do a demographic to know the crazies. My dad, here, some of the books are all piled up. I've got drawers of them. My dad used to work with the clergy response team. For the inauguration, for Bush's second inaugural, the Secret Service knew all of the groups in the country that were opposed to Bush that were coming to town. They had names, photographs, addresses, aliases. Even if you were just coming to town, no gun, you don't like the president, they've got you registered. They know where you are, your license plate number, your job, your not-for-profit, your criminal record, your credit record. They have it. We live in a security state, people. They sweep the buildings. I got in trouble with the Secret Service back in 1992. I went to an event and Al Gore was there. I had a trench coat on. The Secret Service were ready to either attack me or shoot me at the Sheraton Hilton because I had a trench coat on. They were suspicious of whether I was a shooter or not. I had to open my coat. In fact, take it off so they know that they didn't need to shoot me. And there was a black woman that let me know I was about to get hurt. I wasn't moving suspiciously. I didn't have my hands raised up. Just having the coat on, they were ready to deal with my ass. Either they're going to shock me out, inject me. I almost got taken down right there at the NAFIO, National Association for Equal Opportunity in Higher Education conference, because I had a coat on and nobody was to be in the room with the vice president with the coat on. It was in March or something like this, so it's cold. I had a coat on. I just got in. You need to get that off, or we'll take it off. Not, please. What do you want? And I didn't walk around. I wasn't trying to get close. Just being there. They were ready to. I was a threat. Black man, coat, threat. Kill if necessary. They are ready to kill you. It has happened more than one time. I want to say to you, I used to work as a steward for the State Department, in the White House, for the Vice President, and even when they had your ID, they had your picture, they knew your name, they knew your residence, you had a security clearance. You couldn't have coats, you couldn't have this, you couldn't get close to people, don't touch. And even with that, they sometimes, I'm talking about people serving soup and all to the vice president, you had people with guns, the hands on their guns, ready to shoot us in the kitchen, not even near the candidate, not near the office holder. They don't play. You can get beaten up, you can get hurt fast, and they've got the insurance, the government's there, they've got unlimited pockets to get away with hurting you. You can get summoned to a job. 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 You can get s have
The reason why
everything.
I asked that, Dr. Short, is because I know when I was in school, the first Bush, he came to the high school that I was going to in New Jersey, and basically 2 weeks prior before he got there, all the houses that was around by the high school,
Yes.
all them people got put in hotels.
Hmm.
All the storage
They
units
had
was
bomb
covered up.
sniffing dogs. When they
All
have
the storage
events,
units
I've
was
worked events many times with the president. Bomb sniffing dogs on everything. I had stuff on my keychain. They took my keychain apart. They were suspicious of it. Everything was checked. They went through everything. If they just didn't like you, you can't come in. And you need to move when they tell you get out of line, or you might get your ass kicked for resisting. Or you become a person of where they start looking you up. When they say, I know what it's like with some friends. We were told to take former Vice President Dick Cheney some beverages. We went. We had Uzis pulled on us. Inside the event hall with the sweeping, no guns, we could have got shot for taking him caffeine-free Diet Coke because somebody was antsy, just us being black men. Even though we were working, and they can see that's. In fact, I remember we're at one place, Smithsonian, the castle, the red sandstone building that's famous. We were working the event. We didn't know what it was for. We got there. When we came in, Secret Service, I repeat the quote, we came in with our bags. We were told, get the fuck out. And that's, understand when they said that staying would have invited whatever they wanted to do to you. And we knew because Dick Cheney had the nastiest security team that anything could happen to you in relationship to wrong place, wrong time, wrong Secret Service person that you looked at the wrong way. They're suspicious of everything and everybody. If you sneeze, they think you may try to get bio. They will make you get out because they don't want you to infect someone. They're very protective, and they go through all the buildings, everything, everybody for weeks in advance. Even government buildings, when the president would come to, it's called the National Building Museum. It was a pension building in the Civil War. It's in downtown on 4th Street. They would even go through the HUD. They would go through the government buildings and go through their own staff and check them. Even the own government people, they didn't trust anyone. Nobody is any good. Nobody is trusted. Period. Everybody is a suspect. It's poison. You're trying to touch people. If you get too close, they have a thing where they can shock you. They have a taser. If you're moving, they will tase you. Where I got tased once for greeting Douglas Wilder, governor of Virginia. You can get tased, all kinds of stuff, not even meaning evil. Just they don't like you. And so I want to say to you, that white boy who we were told, right, what's his name? Crooks, Matthew Crooks? Thomas Matthew Crooks. I can assure you, I have had a sniper more than one time, Secret Service, point a sniper rifle at me, and I wasn't even trying to do anything. I wasn't on a building. I wasn't armed. I wasn't in an area I had no business being in. All you need to do is do a boycott or a protest near the White House, and you will see the snipers point, and they will be scoping, ready to shoot your ass. And they're all around Lafayette Park. Don't think that you can act out there. You can get killed real fast. I've worked the events. I've been around the Secret Service. They were even in other businesses with guns and setups as a courtesy to shoot and to deal with people. They know what's going on. There's no way that guy took a rifle, an M16 rifle, and got up on the roof. They have satellites and drones watching this. What do you mean? he got there. And then the policeman sees him, runs away. He didn't even try to shoot the dude. He would have shot a black motorist with his car keys, but ran. That boy should have been shot when he pointed his rifle at the policeman. There's no way that they didn't see the policeman up on the roof. When the policeman approached them, they should have shot that kid when he turned to point the rifle at the policeman. They let him get that shot off. This is a deep state assassination plot that failed. The failure were the people in the crowd that kept pointing out the man. And the punk-ass policeman, had he shot him, they may have shot the policeman. That's probably why his ass ran. He was afraid of the snipers as he was of the shooter. So he punked out of that. This is, and I want to do one more thing. Tell the people in the chat, when they identified, what's that damn bastard's name? Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Thomas Matthews Crooks.
Excuse me. They said they were able to identify him off his DNA. Bullshit. You cannot get a DNA identification in less than 72 hours. Bullshit. He must have already given them some blood for them to be able to identify him. Because what would they identify him up against? If his father wasn't a criminal, his uncle was the criminal,
Gotta be in the database.
he has to be in the database.
Yeah.
So how would he be in the database without having first given some blood? Where did he learn to snipe like that under pressure? Remember, the cop was just on him with the gun, and he still would have shot Trump in the head at 160 feet out. I'm sorry, 150 feet out. At 150 feet out with someone disturbing you, how did he get his composure from pointing his rifle at the policeman to turn around in that split second and squeeze off a shot at Trump? Other than he knew. They said he went to high school, and then there's no further description of his life. What was he doing? Maybe he was trained. Maybe he was in the military. Maybe he was an asset for the CIA or other people. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And by the way, go read everything about Thomas Matthew Crooks' father. It seems crazy. I've got to ask the police. What kind of father with a dead son is going to ask the police after they killed your son? No comments at this time. My family's grieving. There's all kinds of stuff. Nope. I need the police to tell me. What are the police going to tell them? What he's going to tell the public about his son being shot. What was he paid? And how come we don't know who his parents are? His mother by now. We knew who Lee Harvey Oswald's mother and stuff was, right? That's in the 60s they had that kind of access. Now they have even more. We still don't know what this boy's family is about. What does his dad do? What does his mother do? What's their address? What did he do?
A 20-year-old is going to have some form of social media footprint.
And where's his girlfriend? I think he's gay. That's the other reason. I believe that he's an ICEL.
And also
He's an ICEL gay. And of course, the Biden and them are really big on gay. That's going to make gay people look bad. That we just had that filthy Pride Month, and then the next month they go kill Trump, who's a hero to half the country. They got to kind of play it off.
One of the things for you guys in the chat, Pennsylvania, that's Western Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is considered for politically a battleground state. Where he was at in Butler, Western Pennsylvania, is considered a Trump base. Now, let me explain to you guys, because Trump and President Biden both have been in my area probably 6 times in the last 7 years. Both of them, which is crazy, because literally 10 minutes away from where Biden grew up at. When President Biden comes, you guys, the main highway, 81, Interstate 81, that runs through, is shut down. You're literally on hold because they both go to the local airport.
And that highway is the same age as Biden.
Yeah, right. So what happens is everything is on standstill until they leave and come, right?
Until they depart.
When Trump goes to a rally, his rallies, you guys, and you don't have to be a Trump supporter, you don't have to be pro-Trump. His rallies are literally in the high thousands. We're talking about 16, 17,000. It's nothing. He goes to arenas. He had an outside event yesterday. An outside event where an active shooter was able to get within 200 feet from him. Not 200 yards, 200 feet. Some of us that go to these type of events, you can't even get there if you're not armed. You can't get that close.
Right.
Most people that get that close, you see people on those stages, they're vetted. They're vetted.
And they're
Friends,
told to
family.
stay off the roof, stay away from windows, all of that. In particular, since the shooting of JFK. So, and I want to just remind you that Robert Kennedy Jr., let me just tell y'all what I know from the inside. I have a buddy that's friends with Robert Kennedy Jr. He told me at the beginning of the year, have you noticed Robert Kennedy doesn't do a lot of speaking? Have you noticed? As a presidential candidate, very little television, very little. They've already promised to kill Robert Kennedy this year. If Robert Kennedy doesn't shut his mouth, he's going to get some. That's already been told. In fact, your campaign workers, surrogates, anybody talking for Kennedy is subject to get shot and killed. I repeat, no protection for y'all. Y'all asses are on your own. You get what's coming to you. That's why you don't see Robert Kennedy saying anything. Because they're going to get him. The people behind Biden are willing to kill anybody. They did it with the damn medications you fuckers took. They don't care about anyone. They want him to stay. Him and his Alice Cooper-looking wife and his pedophile junkie son and all those people and that Ronald McDonald-looking press secretary, they like where the country is. They like the collapse. They like us being miserable. And Biden's their guy. They want the country full of illegals. They want this. This is a takedown of the country. They want this. Why can't Robert Kennedy and his staff be protected? And so no, he's not even announced. That may make people come after him to say that people are going to get us if we do anything, right?
Gentleman said, huge fan of Randy Short. I'm quite literally writing him on the presidential ballot, whether or not he gets.
Oh God, I'm already dead. I have a heart problem.
This moment in history is too important for modesty to wishful thinking.
Hell no. Let me just say to you, Robert Kennedy Jr.'s buddy said to me, they've been advised, just don't do much anything because anything can happen to you at any time. Some of you, one of you, family, just no. And he told me that they were going to be refused. They let us know. They told Robert Kennedy Jr. to get his ass out of the race.
Just think about that.
I mean, what kind of people tell you you better not? He got run out of the Democratic Party. If you're an independent, we're gonna get you, right? They got his whole family to come out and denounce him. They really hate him, and so that's why you don't see any big addresses. You don't see anything from Robert Kennedy Jr. because they don't know what's going to happen to them. That's why when Trump got shot, the first person to say anything was who? Robert Kennedy Jr. And notice how long it took Biden and them to respond to the shooting. He's got a full press office. I've worked as a press officer for a campaign. You can turn something around in 2-3 minutes for the candidate. That's why you're there. You may be 24. Hey, look, somebody got shot. We got to do a letter. We got to do this. 150 words, how we feel. Boom. They vet it. Okay, chief staff, it's out. Don't tell me it takes hours to respond to a political rival being shot, nearly killed. You see, and the reason I'm going to tell you guys that they expected Trump to die yesterday. And this is why, and that's why they didn't have a prepared statement. It would look like they knew in advance. So they were taken by surprise when it didn't happen. They didn't. They were. And let me tell you something else. Y'all didn't see this because, and I'm sorry, there's some feminists out there. Y'all can go to hell. Notice how they had all those short women around Trump. Trump's head still exposed. Feminists, you need a man tall enough to take a bullet for the president. I understand diversity, inclusion, and equity and inclusion, but part of they want a certain height for a man to be killed protecting another man. I'll tell anybody, my first job was on Florida and T Streets Northwest. I literally worked my first summer less than 75 to 100 feet from where Ronald Reagan got shot on March 30th, 1981. And I was friends to Mr. Brady. He was a Secret Service officer that was shot in the head protecting Ronald Reagan. I used to talk to Mr. Brady at the Kennedy Center. You could still see where he had been shot in the forehead. When you're in Secret Service, you're supposed to be prepared to die for the president. But if you're a woman and you're 5'4" or 5'5", and Donald Trump is about 6'1", 6'2", you need someone tall enough to be in a place where the bullet would fly. So look at how the women were in the front of Trump. He was still exposed, where he could have been shot in the head had there been another shooter. And the head of the Secret Service is a macho, feminist-looking broad. She looks like the commissioner from Batman with the long weave on. You know, Commissioner, Batman, please help us, Batman. She looks like, remember the commissioner? Commissioner, right?
Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon. This white woman looks like Commissioner Gordon from Batman, but with the big weave on, with the big drag queen wig on. And she's inept. She's incompetent. And what she's been doing is giving jobs to short-haired white women. I'm sorry, ladies. There's some work you guys aren't cut out for the same way men are. And for all of you that disagree, the draft has been reinstated. Please enlist and find out how much harder it is being a man than it is being a woman.
Why was she having so much trouble, Dr. Short, putting her gun and getting her gun out the holster?
Maybe because she thought it was a sex toy and didn't want to get laughed at. Look, those women couldn't even hold him up right. And the women got up there all fast. They should have had the men up there. If somebody's going to be up there, men are the ones that die in war, so women are able to take care of the survivors, the children, the injured men. It's absolutely, the mistake that they made is that this was basically a bargain basement Dealey Plaza. Had they had another person up there, Trump would not be here. Thank God that Biden and them, maybe due to inflation, they didn't have enough money to pay Manchurian candidates.
I respect what you're saying, Paul, but this was not a false flag. This was a failure, an epic failure for anybody that knows anything about security, anything that anybody knows about Secret Service. Trump, or any candidate, or any person of interest, is the objective. You protect that person at all costs.
And it failed.
And it failed.
And the biggest false flag, did you see?
On an epic level.
Did you see? Yes, God did protect Donald Trump. I don't care who doesn't like me. I like Trump. I despise Biden. I don't care.
A lot of people.
I've learned how to accept people not liking me. If I like Trump. I don't care what nobody says. Y'all can keep hating me.
Donald Trump or his campaign did not need to do a false flag. He's winning. He was winning. He serves no purpose trying to do a false flag. And
no, he's a Biden supporter. The guy, he's a Biden supporter. Biden supporters are illogical, they're irrational, and they certifiably belong in a damn straitjacket somewhere. Donald Trump doesn't want to die. Donald Trump wants to be president. Donald Trump is facing the most powerful media in the world attacking him 24/7, and he's ahead. And this shooting follows the one thing that really upset the Democratic Party. Last week, they did a poll and found for a certain group of black people, 50% or more black Americans have voted for Donald Trump. Count me in that 50%. That means that the Democrats are gone as a national party. They're finished if it stays like this. They've got to do something. There is no way that Biden and them can win if they lose half of the black vote. And where are they most likely to lose the black vote? Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Georgia. These swing states. If the blacks in Arizona go with Trump, he's going to get all 50 states. His election's going to be a lot like his mental state. It's just running in place. It's people, we've got a banana president. We've got a dictatorship with Biden, and y'all don't even know it. Y'all like the Germans that thought Hitler was cool, or the Spanish that like Franco. Y'all can't see it. What, because people, men with titties and drag queens can dance in women's clothes in the White House, you think you're free? You mean butt blocks equals freedom? And I'm going to say this, it's divine intervention that Donald Trump, he turned his head just in time. There's a picture of the bullet in slow motion. Donald Trump turned his head. Had he not turned it, just like Martin Luther King when he was stabbed by that Isola broad in New York in the 50s, had Martin Luther King's heart been, the vein been penetrated anymore, Martin Luther King would have bled to death. This was a divine intervention. Like or hate Donald Trump, whatever they do to try to destroy him, he comes out on top. No matter how they stack the deck, he wins the hand. At some point, we need to stop going with the mainstream bullshit media and recognize that we've got a person that basically posterity, divinity, favors Donald Trump, flaws and all. If he did play with Stormy Daniels' oversized boobs, he's gonna be president if they don't murder him, and I believe that they will try again. These people are desperate. They're losers. If Trump wins, the fraud in Ukraine, the fraud in Gaza, the fraud in Haiti, the fraud in Sudan, the fraud in our cities, all of this stuff is over. The people that are involved in the human trafficking of these kids coming across the border, there are a whole bunch of people that stand to lose everything if Trump wins. They've got to kill him. It's for their money. But I want to say this to all the people who hate Trump. You guys are like the same people who said crucify Jesus. You guys are incredibly wicked and godless people. And y'all going to get judged because it isn't that Trump is so good. It's that Biden is so bad. What about your empty refrigerator and your empty gas tank and your empty bank account and empty malls and stores don't you get? What does your stupid donkey-headed selves don't get that this country is being wrecked.
Dr. Short, I think, and that goes to a further whole, that we could do a show on that for about 6 hours about how most people, the American people, are lying to themselves when they say they're not struggling at the gas pump.
Hell, we're
They're not
struggling.
struggling at the grocery store. I mean, you go to the
Hell.
grocery store, get 3-4 items, and you don't spend $200.
Well, even if you didn't, if you buy just basics like cabbage and chicken and cucumber. I was in Lidl, the store. Lidl's are good, but Lidl's cucumbers were like 89 cents. 89 cents for almost $1 for a cucumber in a discount store?
When they were generally two for $2 for $1.
Two for $1.
I know.
I mean, almost everything. A head of lettuce, $3. A dozen of eggs, $5, $6. I mean, when you buy gas, all of this stuff, everything is high. Everything is high. And yet you have all these ugly rich people, and a lot of them ugly rich black people, like Roland Martin. He's ugly and rich. The Don Cheadle looking broad, Joy Reid. All of these ugly black people. Whoopi Goldberg looks like a slug with dreads and glasses. You have these ugly, well-paid talking head people who make 7 and 8 figure salaries, telling people who are making $35 and $25 and $45 and $55,000 a year that everything's great. Or Oprah Winfrey. I mean, all of these people who are rich, who are the exceptional black people who hate our guts, who are against reparations. They don't want us to have anything. They don't even want our ancestors to be compensated. And they're saying vote for Biden. This is incredible to me. I mean, I'm just saying, what part of economic genocide don't your black asses get? Now, you're going to get upset about one Klansman cop shooting or beating one black person, as terrible as it is. But we're 50, 60 million people being starved to death. They bring 20 million people in the country. I want to tell you about my dear brother in Baltimore, who has a brother-in-law who's probably in his 30s or 40s, who's disabled. He's been working faithfully for years in McDonald's, going to work on time, being a good employee, but the store decides to hire illegals. All of a sudden, he goes from having 40 hours a week to one shift in the week. Imagine what that did to a family struggling. The mother, who's the caregiver that's the legal guardian of her disabled son, goes to get SNAP. When she goes through all the rigmarole to get SNAP, they are offering her $25 a month for her son. And yet they're giving $700, $800, $1,200, $1,500 and food benefits to illegals. They're giving people housing vouchers $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. All the apartments that used to be empty near me, they're full. And I feel like I live in Tegucigalpa now, in my neighborhood. All of them can afford to live there, and they can afford the insane rents. And they're giving them the money, yet it's a handout. If a black disabled person who paid into the system loses most of their time of their job or they're gainfully employed, $20 is enough for them, and $1,500 plus TANF money, additional money, money for cars, money for housing, for illegals in this country. And this person's parents are taxpayers. Goddamn every black person that supports Biden. I pray to God that he judge every ignorant black person who's so goddamn selfish. You're doing okay. That the weak working class black people are being destroyed by this. That maybe you get carjacked or your identity gets stolen by these people you want to help so much. Let's see how much you like this demented pedophile that's president when it hits your family, since the only thing that matters to a lot of selfish middle-class Negroes, and I should say niggers, it's when it hurts you. You want to know why other groups of people get ahead? They know how to be a collective. You know why black folks are dead last? It isn't just racism. It's black self-hatred and crooked, vile, rugged individualism. This is bullshit. Yes, I do.
You support the calling of House Republicans call for Biden's doctor to testify before Congress.
He should testify. The people that had the laptop with Joe Biden's son molesting children, the people who said that that was Russian misinformation should all be in jail. There's a video of Joe Biden's son dragging an underage girl nude into a hotel room. If you're going to come after R. Kelly and P. Diddy, you need to be going after Beau Biden and all the people that ran with him, including his dad. His father's a criminal, and Joe Biden, she's an enabler of pedophilia and graft and criminality, which is why she looks like Alice Cooper without the Adam's apple.
So, Dr. Short, let me ask you, and I know that most people who know who you are.
Oh, you know what? I have a question to ask you. I need you to put a sister, Awasi's sister Miriam, because she's in being a moderator, but she's from Illinois, and she can really tell you what the illegals are doing to the black people in Chicago, home invasions, people from other countries coming, making bowel movements on elderly black people's porches, stealing their stuff, and the police won't even come. And these people are armed with weapons, with automatic weapons. They can't speak English, but they know how to say, nigga, give me your money. That's the one piece of English that they know. This is outrageous. Let me see. I would have had her on, Sister Miriam. They're messing... They mess with my system so I couldn't even get in. They're doing this to all the platforms. Y'all need to know every July they make it virtually impossible for people that do alternative black discussions.
The brother Paul is asking, have you ever read the book by Gloria Naylor, 1996?
No. There's a lot of stuff I haven't.
Let me ask you, Dr. Short. And I know that you have a pulse on it still, and I know that you have history with this as an international correspondent. What is America looking like? If you gave your assessment on what is America looking like abroad with what we've witnessed the last week or two?
America looks like what people think America is. People see America as in rapid decline and free fall. People see America in rapid decline, and it started with Katrina, when a country can't respond to a natural disaster. Cuba has hurricanes all the time. Cuba can respond to a natural disaster. You mean the United States? Houston, every time there's a natural disaster, parts of this country fade to black. We know the weather's going to be this way. They say they care so much about this damn global warming. Then why not have a genuine, in-place crisis response stronger than FEMA that can take these things on every year? We know the hurricane, we know the tornadoes, we know the stuff is coming, we know that the fires are coming in California. Why can't we be a more organized society? Why are we a jerk-off, knee-jerk society? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that you have certain problems. How is it that you can't have a border? How is it that you can have tuberculosis outbreaks in a city like Chicago with all of its fantastic hospitals and universities? How do you not check who comes into your country? How do you have where we all have to wear masks and go through all these changes for COVID, and yet other people can come to this country, no questions asked? Oh, well, is that your fentanyl? That's a nice pack you got in. See ya. I mean, that's as a person that's traveled, I've never been able to travel anywhere and not validate my credentials, everything, meet the health requirements, or I didn't get the hell in. And only one time only as a traveler did I do something unlawful, and that was to go from Ghana to Togo without a visa. Even though I was just gone for a day, folk didn't want to let me back into Ghana, even though I had my passport, my visa to be in Ghana, all of that to travel, my ticket to leave the country. They didn't want to let us back in. See, that's how they are in Africa. So don't let any of these Africans or anybody else tell you, you do not just get to go across frontiers and not comply with the laws of that country. It's absolutely not going to happen. You're going to have to pay a bribe or do something. It's very strict. America doesn't have laws for which it's willing to uphold. They also know that America is trying to get rid of its hated minority, black people. And on top of that, America looks like a decadent country. When you have a president with a man pretending that he has breasts, literally doing pornographic videos on the lawn of the presidential mansion, where you have a drag queen with AIDS kissing the president's hands and acting like a woman before the whole world. America looks like a Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, and Biden is the Nimrod. And I want to say something to you. For all of the ignorant black Americans listening, there used to be a time where black Americans were seen as the Americans that understood. Increasingly, we look more savage and backwards, nasty and degenerate than the white Americans. We support every war because Obama was president. We support the killing in Ukraine because Biden was vice president under Obama. So we support Russia being pushed to the point where it wants to declare thermonuclear war on us. How are we going to survive with our black asses living in the cities if they start firing missiles? Isn't that stupid? Isn't Joy Reid the dumbest bitch that ever got in front of a camera? Isn't Roland Martin the most embarrassing, morbidly obese black man to ever be on YouTube? That these people aren't counting what we would lose if this thing goes wrong? I mean, what sense does it make for the United States, right, to participate in causing a genocide in Congo through corruption, a genocide in Sudan, a genocide in Haiti, and as well ethnic cleansing of its own cities, a war, a global war against black people, and dumbass black people that are registered as Democrats, that are Greek letter and Masonic, support black genocide as long as the Democrats do it. Black life doesn't matter if a Democrat's trying to take it. It only matters if a Republican does. We're basically a basket clusterfuck case of hypocritical liars. If I was a supremacist, I would say, you know what? We have to be right. Look at them. They support Biden wiping them out. What's wrong with me lynching someone putting up a little noose? Biden wants to lynch everybody with Planned Parenthood and fagotizing everyone. We only want to hang one person for our little club. What you say? I mean, don't we think, and the world looks at us. They look at a country right now that can't beat Yemen. Yemen's got the Red Sea tied up. The United States has poured billions into Israel, and they can't beat down Hamas. Israel's losing a damn genocide, and America's on the side of a country losing a genocide with the criminal president that the people in that country don't want. This country looks absurd. Putin doesn't bother America. Also, let's look at it. The people in Africa want America to get out of Niger, Mali, Chad, Burkina Faso. I mean, Biden is so despicable until weak-ass, white-ass-kissing Africans, slave-trading Africans, the kind that would like to do slavery all over again if they could find the ships and put into new castles, right? I guess the castles would be Art Deco. They would sell their own people all over again to get beads and shit. When Africans get tired of America and France and Biden's at the helm, the whole world is angry. Everybody's running after bricks. All the Africans are trying to learn Chinese and use chopsticks, and they've got plenty of bamboo in Africa. They'll be fine. America's no longer as respected, and it gets worse and worse. The people actually miss Trump. At least there was some stability. You got wars everywhere. You got Macron, or he should be called Fagcron, the president of France, with that strange wife. People say it's a man. I hope it's a woman. I wish it's a first lady. We don't want to be a first baby, right? And they don't have democracy in France. This Biden thing has wrecked every allied government with the United States the last 3-4 years. They couldn't even do a good withdrawal from Afghanistan. And for all of the, again, I want to consistently show my disrespect for stupid black Americans. They've taken young ass black Americans who want scholarships to go to school. They've got black National Guards people in countries like Syria, where they're not supposed to be, being bombed. When 3 of them got killed, we finally got a chance to look at what the National Guards people look like that are in these countries that America's having all these secret wars with. A lot of them are black children. So if you support Biden, not that Trump is perfect, y'all need to understand, a lot of y'all are just bastards living your own little fake middle class bubble. The best thing that could happen to y'all is for y'all to lose your jobs and have to be a low income black for a couple of days or months to sit down and realize what the reality is out here. Because there's a type of black person, they've been given the velvet glove treatment in America. Everything works out for them. They've never been stopped by the police. They've never been racially profiled. And everything they think, and this is this selfish clitoris prepuce, because everything's around personal pleasure for black men and black women. Everything's based on, well, my personal experience. Motherfucker, we're talking about a race, not your single solitary bitch ass. Whenever you talk to a black man, well, what about us? Know some statistics. So what, you wipe your own ass? It doesn't mean you know about colorectal cancer for black people. The world's bigger than you and your pettiness. And in fact, I have to say something. There's a group of pathetic, sorry-ass black people that I need to address. The Congressional Black Caucus. With the exception of no good Benny Thompson, lying-ass Mississippi Benny Thompson, with the most broke-ass congressional district in the country. He's the one that was trying to strip Trump of Secret Service protection just a few weeks ago. It's a black dude with power trying to hurt a white dude. Sounds like racism to me. I don't care. Yes, black people can be racist if they get in a position like Obama. When they get in a position like the people in the CBC is racist against all black people, that they're working for a crime bill for Asians, and a crime bill for Jews, and a crime bill for Latinos, and a crime bill for gays, and they're against reparations and justice for black people, and they have the capacity to do good. They're evil, they're nasty, they're degenerate. I'm telling you, we used to know that we had black leadership in this country. You know why? People were trying to shoot them like folk tried to shoot Trump the other day. When black people who were leaders used to get threatened and hate calls and perspiring across their yard, you knew that they were standing up for black people. Nothing happens to these black folks now. That's proof that they don't give a damn about us or stand up for us. Because if Hakeem Jeffries, who hasn't opened his high yellow Dr. Evil looking mouth to say something about him feeling bad about Trump getting shot, if they spray painted nigger on his house, that would help bring his sorry ass around, even with his light colored eyes that you black women like so much. And to me, nigga look like one of those dogs with the eyes don't match and shit. Remember that Down and Out in Beverly Hills movie with Lil Richard in it? And the dog's name was Monet or Topaz or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, your eyes should be brown. I mean, oh, his eyes are green. You look like a monster with that shit. You need to have normal pigment in your eyes. Yes, I said it's normal, like most people. Yeah, nah, that's gonna make some high yellow people out there.
So Dr. Short, the CBC ain't make a statement yet?
Not to my knowledge, but Benny Thompson did. His sorry chicken nugget loving ass. He said something.
What did he say?
Well, I don't have it pulled up, but it's on my Twitter page. Go to my Twitter. I have a Benny Thompson thing. He basically said how, this is the time for violence and this, that, and the other. I mean, the biggest violence he has is his waistline. There's no time for that. I mean, you've got these people, and they're all celebrating Trump getting shot at. They're thinking it's cool. It isn't cool. If you'll shoot a former white president, what will happen to rank and file black folks if you let this hatred out of the Nazi Pandora box called America? I mean, where are y'all living? Y'all not ready for that. We're not the majority of the people in this country. We're a hated minority, and we're a self-hated minority. We don't even like ourselves. We don't have any defense in place. And now that the cities, they scattered people out, it's not like you got big ghettos anymore. Folk can easily step to your ass. You live in a mixed area, and they're organized, and you don't even want to sit next to a black person on the bus or in a university classroom. I mean, we're primed to just get offed. We need to leave Trump derangement syndrome to another group of people who hate our guts too. And they want to kill us through abortion and LGBTQ and GMO and vaccines and all this other stuff. And they're worried Trump says some stuff you don't like. Rappers say stuff you don't like. You've made it into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Get out of my face, chicken shit, black people.
Shoot, they done made him worse. It used to be the boogeyman. He was the boogeyman, but he's worse than the boogeyman now. He's
Hitler.
Like you said, he's Adolf.
And you know what's interesting? You know that down in Western Pennsylvania, they built a new Tree of Life synagogue. Remember they shot up all the Jews in 2018? That's not far from. So all this stuff that they've been saying, Hitler, he likes Hitler, he likes Hitler, he likes Hitler, Trump is Hitler, Trump is Hitler. They've been baiting some crazy Jewish person with the overly protective mother and a hateful father to take a shot at Trump. Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks? Have you looked at him with that damn Beach Boy, or should I say Jane Mansfield hair he had? He looked like almost a semi-drag queen, and white frames on his glasses. Guys don't have white frames on their glasses.
20 years old, the gun was registered to his father.
Yeah, well, who is his father? Is his father in the IDF? Is his father a white survivalist or a white supremacist? Is his father in the intelligence community? Because they haven't put him out there. Who are these people? Are they Khazarian? We know who he is. His ass is dead. So why can't you talk about him? Notice how they didn't go heavy on this assassination in the news today. They want the public to forget about it so they can get another chance to take another bite out of that big MAGA apple. And they want this to be a fatal bite. Somebody's Don Washington saying black folks in Mississippi will not vote Benny Thompson out of office. Over 20 years in office, done nothing. It's closer to 30 years in office. Benny Thompson was in office in the 1990s. So, and he was in office before 1999. So he's been in office a minimum of 25 years. Somebody look it up. How close is it to 30 years that Benny Thompson's been in office? He doesn't do anything. When the white officers put the gun up the man's behind and put it in his mouth in Mississippi, did Benny Thomas say anything? When racial stuff happens, the only person he does, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Did you see that January 6th thing? Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. He's from Mississippi. If Donald Trump were the racist that Benny Thompson claims he is, the Nazis down there would have gotten him. There are Ukrainian Nazis in America now that want to mass kill black Americans that have been brought in to black areas by the Biden administration. They've been given tens of thousands of visas. They're getting apartments, jobs, money, and they'll be policemen, and they will kill us. Maybe, just maybe, since it could happen to anybody, maybe some of the elite black people that worship Biden, maybe some of them are going to get shot by these Ukrainian Nazis. It would be justified because you want it for the rest of us. Oh, that's bad for you to wish that. Hell no. They set up a policy to get us killed, and if I think they should get the same thing they put for me, it means I love my neighbor like I love myself. Hell to the yes, it does. The black people who wish this and do this to us should suffer the same thing, even more so. Their children need to be kidnapped. They need to get tuberculosis. They need to get typhoid. They need to experience what they wish on the rest of us. Then all of a sudden they'd say, oh, I thought we were beyond all of this. Where the hell have these coons been? We're not beyond all of this. A lot of things haven't changed. I want to say to you, we were late talking, brother. One of my friends called me, or no, I called him, and he told me within the last couple of weeks, 3 black churches were burned in Kentucky. And black church burnings still take place all over America in the South. A few weeks before, he had a friend call me. She's a judge. And the judge, ex-judge, told me that where she is living, people come and pick up black folks and disappear them, put them in jail, do whatever. They come in the middle of the night with guns. And who are you going to call in rural Mississippi, or actually rural Kentucky, if white folks come to take you away? By the way, I know black folks will say, this is Trump's fault. And I said, maybe they even vote for Trump. But Biden's president. Why can't they call his Justice Department? Why can't his Justice Department do something about the racial terror going on in places like Kentucky? Same way they go after Christians that don't like baby killing, or think that a person born with the dick is a man, a person born with the pussy is a woman. Oh, that's got to be stopped. That's not scientific. No, it's not. And men do have children. Men can have children. It's been happening for a long time. And women do have sperm. All of this mumbo jumbo, pseudoscientific, Luciferian bullshit. And I want to say to y'all, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, people, if there isn't an attempt on Trump's life during the during the Republican National Convention. I hope he has lots of security. If he needs, get the damn fruit of Islam. He can afford it. Do something. I want Trump to win. They're going to come for him, and we need to pray, because I'm telling you, a civil war isn't cute. A lot of black people don't know their history. Where's this book? Oh, I got my fan on top of it. I have a book on Reconstruction by Eric Foner. Should I get it? Should I reach for it? Should I? You want me to reach for it? And let me pull. In fact, since they won't let me get on to StreamYard, I don't need to have it on the book. Give me 1 second. But it was hot, so I had this fan on, and you can't hear it. It's a good fan too. It's a welfare air conditioner where you put water and it blows out this nice cool air.
The only thing is funny because your volume just got low out of nowhere within the last minute or two. But you're good.
Hold on, one second. 1 second. Okay. All right. Let me do a very quick history lesson for all of my my dear brothers and sisters who got bullshit American history in school. I'm going to just point out I got this book for about about $7. I have another copy, but I don't know where it is. When I have so many books, you lose them. But this is Eric Foner's book, Reconstruction. And
Dr. Short, your volume is low on this end.
hold on 1 second. Hold on, wait a second. I'm gonna step off of him. Reconstruction. Now, I'm going to come back into him. Hold on. Let me just do this all over again. Okay. This book, Reconstruction, by Eric Foner. Foner spelled F-O-N-E-R. Foner, can you see it?
And it kind of like...
Okay.
There'd be some weird stuff going on. Go ahead, Dr. Short, say something.
Okay, so here we go.
Bye.
I want to respond to Don Washington. Benny Thompson, April 20th, 1993, was elected to Congress. Exactly, Washington. He's been in 30 years. One of my friends who's deceased was friends to Benny Thompson. 30 years of nothing. You said 20. We need to be thorough when we talk about our black politicians. Some of them can be in 40 years. 35 years and do nothing but make themselves and their family.
I saw America's Favorite Aunt Maxine this week. This is the first time I've seen her in 5 years.
And I think she got a new wig so people would know who
she was twisting and turning that piece.
Well, she needs to twist and turn herself out of public life. That wig that Maxine Waters had on was the worst ever. That looked like something that you get from the costume store or the Halloween store. That was a jacked up wig, Maxine.
She was trying to get it together.
But she can't get it together. And it seems as if she's beginning to have mental decline. She can't remember which wig to put on that she's going to wear on TV. And look, that's something I know a little bit about, having done quite a few interviews on television. They will help fix you up. They have water and stuff you can spray on your wig. They can help you look okay. If you're ugly, they can make you less ugly because it's bad for ratings. If you're so ugly, people don't want to look at you. Maxine Waters was in there playing with her wig the same way she plays with black people, thinking she represents a black district when she works for the Mexican mafia, as far as I'm concerned. Maxine Waters looked a wreck. She's got more crack than Mexico in her face. Now I'm gonna just say this to you. This book, I was saying to them, Eric Foner's book on Reconstruction, you can get a used copy and it's worth having. It's really worth having. And what you need to look at, there's some chapters in here. He has in his chapter 3, chapter 3, it's got some good stuff. From slavery to freedom, building the black community, economics of freedom, origins of black politics, and there's a chapter, violence and everyday life. And it talks about violence, but something that we need to understand, because a lot of Negroes think, "Ooh, a civil war, cool." No, Most people don't realize that more black people died when the Civil War ended than black men fighting in combat during the Civil War. As many or more black people died in Mississippi's Punch Bowl than died fighting the Confederate soldiers in 3 or 4 years. Black people were killed or died of disease, starvation, abuse, maybe in the hundreds of thousands after the Civil War. Scores of thousands easily. If they say 40 some odd thousand black folks died in the Civil War, the Southerners killed way more black people, white Southerners did, when the war ended. Don't think Civil Wars are pleasant or cute. They're dangerous, they're ugly, they're terrible. If you've ever been to a place where there's a Civil War, I've been to one, Congo. Even if you don't see fighting, the wreckage on people, the destruction of people, the distrust, the rape, the destruction, it's unlike anything you can imagine. You have no idea when these people who are racist or these idiot black folks who think like the not fucking around coalition, that if you don't make bullets and you don't make the parts to repair guns, you aren't ready to fight a war, because the day that people who hate you stop selling you bullets, you don't have, your guns are useless. Man, I got this gun, I'm bad, look at this. What happens when your bullets run out?
And that's a known fact, because during COVID, bullets was scarce.
Yeah, bullets run out. What are you going to do? You can have a house full of guns if you can't fire them. They look nice. Maybe put a bayonet on it, do a frontal charge, see how good that lasts. We better start getting smart. You know, this stupidity. Wake up, people. But again, this book on Foner, if I should look and see if I can just read a few pages, and they just talk about folk coming up and just shooting black people, killing them, just to see a black person die.
Go ahead, Dr. Shoko.
Let me see if I can find this. This is Violence in Everyday Life, page 119. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Oh, and there's another thing. The meaning of freedom. I'm not going to do all of it. And it talks about how the light skin and the bushy blacks betrayed the broke black people that were just coming out of slavery. Do you realize we haven't changed? We haven't grown one damn bit in 160 years. That we still let the people who don't want to do for us as a collective, we let them have the positions of power. And those of us that are broke don't know how to come together. And yes, there's somebody I want to blame. Black men, it's our fault. As long as we act like women with dicks and we can't have common cause to protect our people, we can't come together as black men. And I'm not talking about, we don't have to love and hug on each other. I'm not talking about forming a fraternity. I'm talking about being able to create an infrastructure that helps one another and protects and provides for our women and children. Black women have every economic and social reason to not want to be loyal to black men that are not diligent doing their due work. Not that I like it. That's part of why we have this problem. We black men have been petty. Let me read this thing. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to read this. Violence in Everyday Life. This is from Eric Foner's Reconstruction, 1863-1877. And the black community's religious, social, and political mobilization was all the more remarkable for occurring in the face of a wave of violence that raged almost unchecked in large parts of the post-war South. Although the wartime conflicts between the white Unionists and Confederates, as well as the economic destitution that inspired local bands to prey upon the property of others, contributed to the unsettled condition of Southern life. In the vast majority of cases, freedmen were the victims and whites the aggressors. In some area, violence against blacks reached staggering proportions, in the immediate aftermath of the war. In Louisiana, reported the visitor from North Carolina in 1865, they govern by the pistol and the rifle. I saw white men whipping colored men just the same as they did before the war, testified ex-slave Henry Adams, who claimed that over 2,000 colored people were murdered in 1865 in an area around Shreveport, Louisiana. Get that, 2,000 people murdered in 1865. We didn't lose 2,000 lives fighting in Iraq, not for a couple of years. We didn't lose 2,000 lives. We lost maybe a little bit more than 2,000 lives in Afghanistan. 2,000 black people were killed around Shreveport, Louisiana. Just that one place. That's 2,000 people. That's almost the number of people that died in the World Trade Center. That's almost the number of people killed at Pearl Harbor. One black community. They did a genocide. By the way, y'all against reparations, God damn you. 2,000 murdered people. And that's not the only place in Louisiana where they murdered black people by the thousands. Let me keep reading. In Texas, where the Army and the Freedmen's Bureau proved entirely unable to establish order, blacks, according to the Bureau official, are frequently beaten unmercifully and shot down like wild beasts without any provocation. That means the white folks just came up, look, niggas, kill them. America, white people listening, y'all need to grow up. Black folks don't trust you, well, damn it. Black person makes you mad, you're angry with all black people for the rest of your life. This is our history. In reality, people should hate you if this is their history. That's how it goes everywhere else. It's a grace that people don't hate your guts. Susan Merritt, a freedwoman from Rusk County, Texas, remembered seeing black bodies floating down the Sabine River, and said of local whites, there are sure going to be lots of souls crying against them in the judgment. In some cases, whites wreaked horrible vengeance for offenses, real or imagined. In 1866, after some kind of dispute with some freedmen, a group near Pine Bluff, Arkansas, set fire to a black settlement and rounded up the inhabitants. A man who visited the scene following the morning found a sight that appalled me. 24 Negro men, women, and children were hanging to the trees all around the cabins. The pervasiveness of violence reflected whites' determination to define, in their own way, the meaning of freedom, and their determined resistance to blacks' efforts to establish their autonomy. Whether in matters of family, church, labor, or personal demeanor, Georgia Freedman James Jeter was beaten for claiming the right of whipping his own child instead of allowing his employer, of course a white man, and former master to do so. Black schools, churches, and political meetings also became targets. White students from the University of North Carolina twice in 1865 assaulted peaceful black meetings. One gathering to select delegates to a statewide black convention, the second meeting of Black Secret Society addressed by a speaker from the state capitol. Southern whites, a Freedmen's Bureau agent observed, are quite indignant if they're not treated with the same deference that they were accustomed to under slavery, and the behavior that departed from the etiquette of the antebellum race relations frequently provoked violence. In other words, if you didn't shuffle and scrape like Benny Thompson and John Lewis, they want to kill you. Conduct deemed manly. So if you're not acting like Billy Porter and Roland Martin, or dignified on the part of whites, became examples of insolence and insubordination in the case of blacks. One North Carolina planter complained bitterly to a Union officer that a black soldier had bowed to me and said good morning, insisting that blacks must never address whites unless spoken to first. An Alabama overseer shot a black worker who gave him a sass. A white South Carolina minister drew his pistol and shot a freedman through the heart after he objected to the expulsion of another black man from the church services. In Texas, the Bureau records listed the reasons for some 1,000 murders of blacks by whites between 1865 and 1868. One victim didn't remove his hat. Another wouldn't give up his whiskey flask. A white man wanted to thin out the niggers a little. Another wanted to see a dead nigger or damn nigger kick. Gender offered no protection. Listen to this, black women. Gender offered no protection to black women. One was beaten by her employer for using insolent language, another for refusing to call him master, a third for crying because he whipped my mother. The victims also included individuals who personified ways that freedmen had challenged customary racial mores. When delegates to the 1865 Black Convention returned home, many found only ashes and cinders. They burnt their homes, people. A group of Virginia whites beat a black veteran for merely stating he was proud to serve in the Union Army. As one of the disfranchised race of the Louisiana black, I would say to every colored soldier, bring your gun home. I'll stop there. You thought the Civil War was the end of it? They killed tens and tens of thousands of black people after the Civil War. You don't want a civil war in this country, and you have to understand that the Civil War is one thing. It's then called post-conflict. The post-conflict can be more deadly than the conflict itself. When the war is supposedly over, people are still killing and fighting. Wake up, sober up, grow up. And I do not encourage that you hate anybody, but you better love yourself. And part of loving yourself is thinking. And part of thinking is if people can shoot former president who had an election stolen from him by his rival, can have people shoot him in front of thousands of people, and then drag his ass to even say how he felt about it. Just a few weeks before, saying to people, put Donald Trump in your bullseye. Think about that language. When Trump said it would be a bloodbath for the automobile industry, Trump was accused of calling for violence. When Biden says put Trump in your bullseye, oh, well, that's just a matter of speech. We shouldn't want unfairness for anybody because of what our experience is. Doesn't mean that we fight their fight. I can't fight for the Palestinians, but I can be opposed to Palestinians being exterminated. I can't fight for the Sudanese, but I'm against the Darfuris being killed if they're not seen as Arabs. I'm for humanity. I'm against people who are Irish in Northern Ireland getting screwed because they're Catholic. I hate injustice. I hate oppression. I hate unfairness. I hate discrimination. I hate pork chop feminism. But I love women's rights. Women have to have them. I hate fagonists, but I respect and love masculinity. We should be fair people. I am opposed to sodomite domination, but everybody, irrespective of their sexuality, should have and must have the same rights. And that includes you keep your hands off of other people's children that you didn't sire. And they should have the right to say, I don't want you teaching my child. I don't want your diseased ass handling my food in the restaurant. You pick your booty and then make my salad. Then I've got some super bacterial problem in my throat. I'm talking for real people. I don't care who doesn't like it. Donald Trump, people, this thing was an inside job. We're in very dangerous times in America. We're in seriously dangerous times. And the same people that would shoot Donald Trump and shoot the innocent bystanders would even more happily kill us. We're a hated population. We're seen as expendable. We're seen as a national curse, trash. We're a drag on the economy, certain people think. And we believe this ourselves. So we're both suicidal and genocidal towards self, and we're hated. How does that end? And is there an answer? Yes. It's dog backwards. It's called God. And by the way, it's interesting for people so disliked and so kicked aside to think that our asses are so important that we don't need the Creator's intervention. How the hell else do you think these people survived this damn Reconstruction without the hand of God? For all you atheistic, Luciferian, fake black people out there, you guys are the biggest disgrace. Your kids are in the gangs. Y'all make our lives miserable. You're worse than the Nazis and the Klan who don't live amongst us. I just had to get that off my chest. We're going to close out soon. We're going to do 10, 15 more minutes. Or can we talk about, we need to do two things. We need to, first and foremost,
Talk about the past summit.
we also need to say that we, on August 24th, at 1816 12th Street, Northwest Washington, we are going to be hosting the Patriarch Summit. We already have it. We've got the place. Certain people have given, so I've gotten about $1,000 that we've been put in, but we need thousands more. We also have on Eventbrite. Can you put that up?
The link is in the chat.
And I need everybody. I'm going to put the Eventbrite link up in my YouTube feed so you can see it. The tickets are going to come down because folk are tight. So I didn't price the tickets. I just do my part. I'm not going to criticize. But if any of you know people with businesses or want to put in a tribute, we're going to have a souvenir journal, and our goal is to work with people like Sister Quiet Scales and others. We want to put together a quarterly and then eventually something that's monthly, a publication. But this is our first. We have to first get everybody together. And this guy, El Negro Hotep, says Roland Martin is gay. Well, we'll know certain of that. In fact, I want everybody that follows Roland Martin to ask him, should transgender people be able to be members of Alpha Phi Alpha? And wonder if he'll waffle on that. But the Patriarch Summit, we have a GoFundMe. For any of my moderators, if you know where it is, please put the GoFundMe up. We absolutely need, really right now, we need about 7 to 10. Well, actually, my goal is to try to raise 7. I've raised 1. I need 6 more. Actually, I need 6,500 more, and I think I'll get some of it. But we really need it all. We do have some donors. I spoke to a donor today. That's why it's late. I want to see if he can just drop some dollars on us so we can get this done. The first thing is to have the men get together, and we will have a panel of women who will be a part of that, because the last part of the summit will be how do we black men and black women come together. And we're talking about the righteous black women, and that's going to be a tribute. I'm going to take out one for C. Dolores Tucker, who was like an aunt to me. I love her madly. She was Greek. Now that's saying something, that she's a Delta, and I still, I'm cool. If I like you, it's like if you were a stud, whatever, and I like you, it's like, damn, my friend's a stud, I love them. I have to go and fight someone, leave my stud alone, and beat you up if you say anything to stud. and don't you call him a stud. It's just what I did. Well, I love them. Don't you call him a stud. I'll beat you. You can't call my friend a stud. And they're going to say, please look like a woman. Can I help you get a wig? So please, I get it. You want to be a man, but it didn't work out like that. But we're going to have something for men and women. We're going to have, that will be part of it. By the way, women are welcome to come to the Patriarch Summit, but our goal is to get men. Again, I would tell everybody, the problem in the black community is the black man. He's out of order. When he's out of order, his woman and his children are out of order. So we got to get the men straight. And after that, we're hoping that we can have enough momentum to have our women's summit, and then our youth summit, and then we have a black family thing. And this is our goal, because we got to bring them together. And it's not going to just be events, which is why if you know any business people, we want you to buy an ad, as well as we want to promote people's businesses. If you're doing something, if you have a service, we want our own green book to encourage people to work together, to hire one another, to correspond with each other, and in particular, if we can find men in particular communities that can come together, that can get involved with the school board. There's no reason for drag queens to be in our schools targeting our children. There's no reason. There's no reason for this filth in there. I don't have children, and it just. I know if I were a parent, I would probably be in jail because I would flip out. I can't handle it, and I don't have children. How do people with children cope with this stuff? Because I mean, I'm already furious. If someone touched my kid, I'm sorry. And I have gangster friends. Maybe I have to take a contract on someone. I can't work like this. Okay? I told people I have trauma. A lot of people got molested. I hate it. I hate all this shit. I want all the molesters destroyed. Period. I can't. I don't like you. I can't stand you. Okay? And I don't like this economic form where they're working to make pedophilia a protected class. You know whose kids they're going to get. You heard about the kids in Martinsburg, Virginia, where they enslaved 2 black kids. 1860 style shit. That's like 2 hours from where I'm sitting. Our kids are at risk. We let this happen to them. Black men. It's our job to be the army, not the black women. You can't, I mean, I don't have a problem kicking a black woman in the ass psychologically. But I want to kick black men in the ass. Black men have been missing on every level. It's amazing. You can get black men to fight for gay marriage, but not for heterosexual marriage. We're not saying anything about people in prison before they even get charged. They get murdered by the guards, murdered by the police, raped by the inmates. The silence, missing people, all of this. We're black men. And what the hell use of reparations if we're all busted up and dead and dying and infected? Someone's got to say no to this. Shouldn't it be you? And why aren't other people making the call? And if you can't come, if you can support Umar Johnson, what we're asking for, the little bit, I'm trying to get my hands on $7,500. Umar Johnson has got all of that for the school. He's been collecting for, wow, since at least 2009, for 15 years. Maybe there's a school. I'm not even, but isn't that interesting? Serious people in our community have to beg. Clowns and crooks like that punk T.D. Jakes. He's swimming in money. In fact, he's so fat he doesn't need to know how to swim. He can float. I mean, talking about, just we want to have this thing, and we're going to have it here in Washington. We need your support. We also want to do things on the family. I mentioned as part of my GoFundMe, and I thank you for your support. We have a LLC called the Society for Aboriginal and African and the Americans Research. It's basically my thing, but I don't know. I had a sister I think I found her father's name. She never knew her father's name. And the name her mother told her, I think, was a lie. I said, your mother's lying, right? Say your mother's a liar. And then she says, yeah, my mother lied, and my mother's a stud. This is figures. I think we found her dad. It makes a difference when you know your father's name, your grandmother's name. We need to know this. We need to establish our lineage, and that will be part of ongoing. I want to remind everybody that I do genealogical research, and I'm doing a sale. My special until September is I'm doing, in fact, I'm waiting for some names from Black Rose, because I'm going to try to go in this week. Black Rose, send me some stuff so I can look again. My special is $200 a day, and before you gasp, everybody that I do work for, we find stuff. Not only do we find it, I don't charge people for the additional work I do. You know how that is, Brother Quentin. I may ask you to pay me for 5, and I may work 20, because I take it seriously. I'm more interested. I like the work. I like the money too, but the work. So I've had to help somebody find their grandfather. My cousins have a bunch of bastards. One of my my first cousins, maybe about 15 kids, and they're all now writing me through Ancestry. A lot of us have busted up families. We're going to have to come together. We better know each other because we're going to need each other because it's about to get rugged in 2025. And again, so I charge at this point, my summer sale is $200 a day. If you have an interest, email me at DrRandyShort. I explain to you what I do. That includes if you just want me to do some stuff over the phone, I'll do a $50 consultation with you. We'll sit down and pull some databases I have on my phone and see if I can trace stuff. It's like I had to embarrass one of my favorite cousins because he was telling me something about one of his aunts. I says, nigga, you know your family's lies. Everybody black in families lies. Black families lie more than white people. And I had to embarrass him. It turned out he didn't know his aunt's real name and this all this stuff. It took me about an hour. I said to him, I'm gonna keep doing what you told me to do. I just want you to know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and I don't even know who it is, and you don't know what you're talking about. And eventually I says, you know what? I'm tired of listening to you. Now I'm gonna do me. And we found that hole. But it wasn't the name that he said was none. He gave me about 5 names. All of them were wrong. That was a whole nother name, which meant this hoe had about 4 or 5 husbands. And I said, she's a hoe. I can tell she's a hoe because every time you tell me a name, that's the name that your family wanted you to know. It's not actually the name. And I find, a lot of black people were hoes. It's catching up with us. Our families took a long time to get fucked up like this. Don't think it started with you. It didn't start with crack in the 80s. It didn't start with LGBTQ. It started with nasty Negroes back in Reconstruction. When they got free, they did the same thing with what they thought freedom was that Negroes did in the 60s. I could do whatever I want. Instead of saying, I need to get with God. We need to have order. We need to have a collective. Now, there was a little bit of that, and I'm going to read about that in another point. I bought this book just for the Angry Blackness Book Club. Wasn't that fantastic? But we heard about 3,000 black murders in Texas and Louisiana right next to each other. And we know there's more than that. But back to that, email me. My email is wrandyshort@gmail.com. And if you think I'm ridiculous, look and find out how much people charge for genealogical services. You'll be amazed. People ask for as much as $1,500, $2,000 a day. And I asked for $200. And folk wean, well, I really want you to help me. Then you tell them, well, it's going to cost this. Thank you. You never hear from them again. So you know what? If y'all can pay $800 to see Beyonce, but you can't pay $200 to find at least if your roots can be found. And I will be partnering with the sister where if you want to do paternity, all of this, we're going to work on this. My sister JD, the one that made the Jamie Harrison run off the stage at Howard when she was cussing at him and told the Hispanic bitch, I know you were not talking to me. Remember her? We'll be working together. You have to support those who support you. So you got my email. It's wrandyshort@gmail.com. WRANDYSHORT. That's also my Zelle, my PayPal. And for all of those that support me, like my wonderful Star Thompson, our brother El Negro Hotep, brother Mark, I see brother William Freelo out of California, the basketball player, my beloved Miriam, for all these other people. And of course, I've got to put a word in for my main man, Donald Trump. Y'all need to not let people know that you're for Biden. Nothing bad will happen to you if people find out that you aren't for Biden. But if you guys are running around with Biden-Harris shirts on, if you get the shit kicked out of you, remember I told you so. You don't have to wear anything. Stay out of other people's fights. And the final thing I want to remind you about, if you want to bless me like all these wonderful people, and I have to keep saying, hi, Brother Mark and Sister Quiet Scales, my lovely sisters and brothers. Dr. Randy Short, $DRRANDYSHORT. Dr. Randy Short is a Cash App. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I really want people to kick up. If you have any suggestions of businesses, speakers for future references, people that write, artists, I want to know about them because the Patriarch Summit isn't going to just be one event. It will not be like a rally. It's going to be, we want to organize people. In particular, I have to say this because this beautiful woman, her name is Black Rose, and she's on with us. I always tell people, when you speak up, before there was a Star Thompson, before the people, there was only, like, aside from my mother, there was one person that made certain that bad stuff didn't happen to me. It was Black Rose. And Black Rose would tell you things like, when I was doing TV, these people would ghost my phone, take all the numbers and such out, make the batteries fry on my phone, I had to buy a new phone, or I would get money, and this sister would send me money. So and back then I had a cricket phone. That's how broke I had. I called it Roach. Cricket was called Roach because damn, and you want to kill it like you hate roaches. I hated my cricket phones, but this sister would always look out, and she reached out to me, and she's a sweet girl from Memphis. And I kind of like Memphis because Elvis Presley's from there. And Elvis Presley and Donald Trump are like my favorite white men. And I don't mind taking the ass whooping from black people who hate Elvis Presley and Donald Trump, but I like them both. They're both flawed. They both have serious problems, but I like them. Okay, and I like all the white people I want. Y'all like all the trannies you want. Y'all like all the weeds you want. Y'all like all the LGBTQ and the down low divine swine that you like. I like Elvis Presley and Donald Trump. How about that? I have the right to have a problem. Y'all like booze. Y'all like swirling. I like Elvis and Donald Trump. Okay? Get over it. I have the right to, I mean, that's, shoot. I could be into white women. It's lucrative until their father finds out. Rape! Anyway. We want to go after Sexy Red. We want the concert canceled. Who's with me? Who's with Black Rose? Who's out here tired of people misrepresenting black women? As I said, I got very angry. My mother's not a hoe. My mother's not a hoe. My grandmother's not a hoe. My great-grandmother wasn't a hoe. My grandmother sold into slavery October 1846. Miss Gassaway was not a hoe. I don't have hoes in my line. Black women are not hoes. I hate it. I hate the hoe culture. I hate the thug culture. I wish I could destroy it. And those of you that agree with me that black women are like my sister Maria and like my sister Black Rose, you can just be around them. They are so beautiful and loving and creative and wonderful, right? And just, I have a lot of sister friends that are just really incredible people. Creative, thoughtful, kind, loving, divine gifts from God. And I hate their representation as hoes. I hate it, almost like on a mass shooter level. And so I really can't stand Sexy Red. And I'm glad I had the heart attack. I learned how to calm down because this stuff would make me so angry. And it's funny. Look at my little teeny ass arms. I didn't have I wasn't given physical strength for a reason. Because if I were a tough guy like Quentin, I would be in jail because stuff make me mad. I would go and crush somebody. That's the first thing that crosses my mind. And because I didn't have the means, like Brother Q here, to just stomp and beat people out, he's from Jersey. You can tell from that big water chestnut head he's got. He's like headbutt, knock some nigga down, and beat their ass back in the day. Yeah, you can drink that bottle of water. Okay. I always had friends like Q. I would be the one person that wasn't good at fighting. But I could always tell people, beat up that person and beat up that one too. And then someone Q, okay, I'll beat up who else? Give me a list. And they beat up all the bad people. We would make stuff work. Like my buddy Eric, who you talked to, Sister Black Rose. And when we were in the dormitory, I wasn't tough, but we want to order for black men. And I have Eric beat up those guys over there, choke him out, so we can have order among black. And we had order. I couldn't do it myself, but I could imagine if that asshole would just have his ass beat, he'd shut the fuck up. And we could have symposia on black history and all the stuff, which we had for an entire year. After we kicked certain people's asses, it was my idea, but someone else did the kicking. Now I need you guys' help to kick. In particular, it's not so much Sexy Red anymore. She has a fucked up tether Haitian grifter liar, probably legal alien manager who probably keeps her on dope. And we want to see his ass get deported. I mean, maybe we can. These people don't belong in this country, bringing us down. Who's with me? Who would like to see anybody that misrepresents black women and black men and black people, for that to be part of what the Patriarch Summit and also the Summit for Women, which would be called WAZICIA, standing for Warrior Sisters in Arms. Don't you like that, WAZICIA? It sounds like a project name for a woman that got pregnant when she was 14 by two twin brothers and don't know which one. Anyway, we can actually do something. If we could beat Sexy Red's ass down, we can scare the rest of all of these trash people that we're coming for them. Don't come in my city with this filth. How dare you say Booty Hole Brown is a lip gloss for girls? We could threaten school superintendents. If you bring her to town, we're going to come to your house. We're going to be outside your house beating pants, screaming at you. We have to put the fear of righteous black people back in the minds of our traitors, or else we're damned. Who's with me? Who's going to send me an email? Who's going to get with me in Black Rose? We need to do a petition, Change.org and other things, to start calling mayors and other people to say, to hell with this shit. We need a boycott. Sexy Red shouldn't be able to do anything but work in Waffle House, and I'd be afraid for her to touch my food as nasty as she is. Who else gets mad about this? I'm one person, like I said. I'm a middle-aged, broke down X generation. I'm almost a boomer. Don't hate. I'm just on the other side of 65. The city line of not being an asshole generationally. And I need some help. If we had a coordinating committee to attack Sexy Red in this culture, and we can add other people. In fact, we can go for Jay-Z's ass. I never liked that snapping turtle SeaWorld looking nigga any fucking way. I just can't stand him. I don't like him. I think it's wrong for him to have Beyonce, and she probably only got with him because he has drugs wholesale. I hate to say that, but I think Beyonce's on something. But I like Beyonce. At least I used to. And I hope she's not a stud. I'll really be hurt. Okay, I'll really be hurt because I then take Independent Woman very differently. I love that song. Right? And when you talk about 50-50 relationships, are you talking about a man or a woman? You know, tell me what you think about this 50-50 relationship, right? Ladies, you've got to be independent. Dun, 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 dun. I got it. I got it.
I just want to say,
go ahead, baby.
We really do have to come together and have Sexy Red. I like to call it Nasty Dead because I just cannot bring myself to call her by that name. Her government name is Janae Weary, and we are working on a petition.
Well, we need to make her weary.
Amen.
Her labia majora and her rectum are weary. All the nasty stuff she's doing. Mm-hmm.
Anytime someone can have a lip gloss line with names of STDs, that we're in a bad state. And so we have to have this person, this degenerate person who apparently has no guidance, but in researching, she has family that supports her, according to this article. But you know, things can be made up. But anyway, we're going to find out who her parents are. From my understanding, she performs for her family barbecues. We want to know who's her family. Why was she allowed to develop into this type of oh my God, this type of heathen.
Yeah.
Anytime you think that you can go to a school
Mm.
smelling like marijuana
Amen.
and then want to curse everybody out because they will not allow you to come in,
Mm.
and anytime you have degenerate teachers
Yes, Lord.
that will allow
Mm.
her music to be played in the classroom and
Oh,
then you
yes.
film it and place it on social media, those teachers need to be removed. We're
Mhm.
calling for the teachers' unions. We're calling on them too because you all are allowing teachers to have this music played in the schools with the children. We're talking about elementary school children.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke my heart to see that ballerina teacher, that dance teacher,
That was talking about
trying to
Pound
teach the
Town.
students, yes, trying to teach the little girls ballerina dance steps and ballet and all of this. And they cursed her out and wanted to hear Pound Town, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
name of the song is. And so what we have is, and I see it every day, we have more women that are more gangster than the men. They play their rap music louder than the men do. And when they come to the campuses to pick up their children, they open up the door and a cloud of smoke comes out like they Cheech and Chong. And so we wonder why these children act like this. But see, a lot of these people like this nasty dead, this is what we're seeing is residual of crack.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these grandparents were on crack, and all of that crack just filtered down to these children.
Mm. My
And
Lord.
that's what we're seeing. And so that's why we have to come at this. And if she doesn't know, and her little nasty Haitian, no offense against Haitians, but this little nasty Haitian boy that went off on me, people, went off on me when I told him that we did not want to hear that degenerate music. He went off on me. Said some nasty things to your girl.
Well, you need to
So,
print that. We all need to see that.
Oh,
I need to have a copy of that for us to find him, so we control his ass. And
please help me troll him. Y'all
maybe
help me troll him.
maybe he
Help
can
me
get
troll
a
him.
maybe he can get a little rowboat, take his ass back to Haiti. The gangs can use his help to fight the Kenyans that are over there. Show that attitude to the Kenyans invading his country.
We gonna
And the
work on
people
that.
from Nepal that shitted in the water that gave all the people over there what's the cholera. Show them some of that damn attitude.
They sure did. They sure did.
We're gonna work on that, Sister Black Rose. Definitely, we need to put him on blast for being disrespectful.
Yeah,
Let me
we're
give
gonna
his
deal
name
with
out
his
quickly,
ass.
because I know we have to close out. His name is Valdemir Laurent.
No, you
Look
can
him
email.
up.
I'm gonna give you Q's number, and this will be part of our project. And we want everybody to hell with this shit. I came up with hip hop. It was fun, but this is a goddamn disgrace. I have dreams about being dictator of Black America. I could clean this shit up. I would burn up all their master recordings. I would make those niggas pick cotton to restitute all the. Yes, I would. I'd get rid of the tractors. Y'all want to be slaves? I might help y'all be a real ass slave. You'll be a good ass slave. I'd work them in the sun. I wouldn't even wear a hat on, because that's too thuggish.
Remember, you guys, best way to support the channel is to like, share, subscribe. The information about Eventbrite for the Patriarch Summit on August 24th of this year is a pinned comment in the chat. You know, the only way that we could be a vessel for change in our community is to be a vessel, and whatever you could do, whatever you have an expertise in, it's time now to put that on display.
We need you.
Everybody can't conversate. Everybody can't be a good speaker. Everybody, that's not for everybody. So whatever you could do, whatever you bring to the table, you guys, it's time to be accounted for. With that, remember to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a great night.
Okay, he's off, y'all. We're going to do more of these. I got through something. I want to thank everybody. And we got to get these books back in. I do have them. I get them. I go through them. I got to read some of this Reconstruction thing. We've been through people. They've done everything to us. And now they've got us on autopilot, self-destruct, and we've got to turn back to God. That's all I can say. Without God, we will never have anything. Black people need to repent. God's judgment's coming. Do you really want to have been the descendants of people treated like this and go down with the descendants of the people who've been the beneficiaries of your enslavement, exploitation, and abuse? Only a Luciferian Satanist buffoon would want to spend eternity in hell with the very people that put your ancestors through hell. I mean, that's like nigga double jeopardy. Give me God, okay? I don't care. Y'all don't have to like me. I'm used to not having friends. But I want to thank all my moderators. Thank you, El Negro Hotep. Thank you for all the information. Brother Chris, everybody. I'm getting called out to ask for people, but that's okay. We're going to get this done. I thank you. Thank you, Brother Gavin, everybody that's listening. Share, like, distribute. Let everybody know about this Patriarch Summit. We're going to begin to roll hard on this. And man, I'm just incredibly disappointed in the CBC and the other people. You don't have to like Trump, but you never want white folk running around just shooting people that they feel like. Anyone that doesn't get that, can't put that together in their head, is a very dangerous person, dangerous people who we have in leadership. All right, MFM, God bless, love each other. For all the people from other places in the world, we're delineating, but it doesn't mean that we don't care about humanity, but we got to get our household in order. For everybody that cares about other people, God bless you, God keep you. You guys matter, humanity matters. And pray for me. Them saying them shoot Trump, I began to think about all the people that we like who could get shot, and nobody would come there to help them. We need to understand if they can shoot him, God have mercy on us. I'll let y'all go here. Good night and good luck. God bless you.